Dan Dix here, reporting for Press for Truth. I am currently in Quebec right now working on a story, but I had to quickly make this video right now in response to what happened last night at Berkeley. A once-upon-a-time prestigious university in the U.S. was once the epicenter of the free speech movement. But oh, how far they have fallen. In case you haven't heard, guys, on Wednesday night, Breitbart editor Milo, who routinely goes against the status quo, as outlined in our interview here, I'll include links in the description so you can check it out, he was just scheduled to speak to a crowd of students at Berkeley University, and often when these leftists get winds of events like this, you know, a speaker coming to their school that has views that they disagree with, they usually protest and march and write letters until the university administration eventually backs down. Well, not this time, folks. This time, literal riots broke out. The so-called tolerant left went completely berserk. They not only stopped Milo's speech, but they completely trashed the town. They broke windows and just created absolute chaos in the streets. In other words, it became violent. And it's quite amazing in a sad sort of way. Berkeley, as an institution of supposed higher education, not only opposed Milo's views, but they opposed his very presence. I don't know how you define tolerance, but to me, an unwillingness to even hear the other point of view or even be in the same room as them does not define the word accurately. And what's worse is that the university administration is actually trying to defend this behavior. According to them, Milo was not interested in a serious engagement with ideas, and so, therefore, violence. No, what happened is Milo threatened their safe space, and the result was to make the entire city unsafe. I mean, how long until these leftists start murdering their opposition? It's happened in every other socialist movement. They murder anyone with a different opinion, and then they get into power. And once they're in power, they murder each other until one person is left standing, and the whole economy just goes belly up, at which point, though, the country returns to freer markets. I mean, I thought the 20th century put this whole idea of communism to a test and proved, without a shadow of a doubt, that it failed miserably. But so it goes when universities are stacked with Marxist professors. When the 18 to 25-year-olds today have no knowledge of Soviet Union or Mao's China, and nobody bothers to teach them about it. Of course, the blowback from this riot could put an end to these kind of violent leftist demonstrations. Berkeley received $370 million in funding from Washington, D.C. last year, which is more than half of its annual budget. And due to these riots, President Donald Trump just tweeted, "If U.S. Berkeley does not allow free speech and practices violence on innocent people with a different point of view, no federal funds?" If he actually does this, it's obviously not really going to help his reputation in California, and that's perhaps going to speed up the secession process. But then again, what's wrong with that? This university that just churns out students who, at the thought of hearing a non-Marxist opinion, feel entitled to smash ATMs and Starbucks and set fires in the streets and to beat Trump and Milo supporters and pepper spray innocent onlookers, is not worthy of taxpayer financing. So I hope Trump actually makes good on his tweet here, since this is not the first time that riots have erupted on these campuses. A similar one broke out at the UC Davis, as well as the University of Washington, where one person was actually shot. So these are crazy times we're living in, folks, but they are going to be getting worse. And if we don't challenge these leftists and defund the Marxist universities, as anarcho-capitalist Hoppe is famous for saying, there can be no tolerance towards Democrats and communists. They have to be physically removed and expelled from society. And although this is obviously considered a very hard right position, after watching videos of last night's riots, I can't help but agree. If we want a peaceful and prosperous society, we cannot tolerate socialism any more than we can tolerate Islamic fascism. So this isn't about to slow down anytime soon, folks, and I'm going to do my best to stay on top of it because the mainstream media is just continuing to fail over and over again at doing their jobs, and I'm just going to have to do a better job than them for you. But I'm going to need your help, guys, so be sure to click on that Patreon button if you want to support our efforts here. And stay tuned, guys. We've got a lot more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth.